Hello everybody and welcome back to the AOR F1 2016 Season 12 Championship. We're past the halfway point of this season as we land at the legendary Spa circuit in Belgium for round 12. My name is Justin and joining me once again, it's Fisi.
Yes, hello Justin, hello everyone. Xmatic again, busy with some unknown endeavors that we are eagerly anticipating to find out what is. So I'm here again and looking forward to what should be a great race around Belgium, because Belgian Grand Prix are always exciting.
Yep, it's a fantastic circuit. Everybody, spectators and drivers alike, everybody loves Spa. Last time out, though, it was the Renault of Sayariu who claimed victory at a very wet Hockenheim, narrowly keeping AOR Reversal from grabbing his maiden victory. Meanwhile, TRL Limitless grabbed a third podium finish of the season. The 7-kilometer Spa circuit has 19 turns and will be turning 22 laps of this driver circuit before the checkered flag falls. That's enough about the track, though. Let's get things started with the qualifying comparison.
So welcome to the qualifying comparison for the Belgian Grand Prix, jumping on board with the Red Bull of HCR Cupid on the left and the Sauber of AOR Reversal on the right. Coming down towards turn 1, last saw some very tricky hairpin, braking just after the 100 metre board. Reversal opting for first gear to try and get optimum turn in, whereas Cupid leaves it in second. But then we have the longest flat out section on any F1 track on the calendar, up Eau Rouge and then along the Kemmel Straight. No real dramas up this legendary chicane for either driver, and then it is literally just flat out, foot flat to the floor as we're coming down to Ycoms at the chicane. No real traffic for either driver. Cupid picking up a distant tow from the car ahead, but it hasn't really affected him as they are pretty much dead equal coming out of the first sector. Reversal opting for third through Ycoms, whereas Cupid keeps in fourth before both drivers really try and open up this right-hander as much as possible before coming down to this very, very understeery off-camber hairpin. Reversal having to go a gear lower once again, really suffering with the understeer, and then through the corner with no name, fourth gear for both drivers, clipping the apex very nicely. No oversteer on the exit for either of them before launching it into the legendary pull-on. Sixth gear, trying to avoid the curb on the outside as much as possible. Beautifully executed by both drivers before trying to keep the car tight as possible, braking just after the 50 metre board into this chicane. Fourth gear, whereas Cupid opts for fifth before downshifting to fourth for the second part. And then for this really tricky right-hander down to third gear, clipping the apex nicely for both drivers. Again, Cupid has a bit of traffic, but it hasn't affected him at all, as he is now marginally ahead of Reversal in the Sauber before we are about to come to Blanchimont and then the heavy braking zone into the bus stop chicane. But for now, there is not really much for the drivers to think about apart from setting themselves up for this all-important final braking zone, which can make or break a lap. Braking just before the 100 metre board down to second gear, Reversal opting for first yet again to try and get that little bit extra turn in, maximising the exit, DRS as early as possible, and up to the line is HCR Cupid who takes pole position, with AOR Reversal lining up in third.
Thank you very much, Ali, for that lovely qualifying comparison. And as you saw there, it was HCR Cupid on pole position by just under 0.2 of a second in front of Sayariu, who managed to get himself under the front row. Reversal in third, and he will be joined by the Flying Finn, the championship leader, alongside him. Row 3 has Martin and Stries next to each other, both those only 3.5 off the pole. And then there's a couple of further tenths down to Franglish and TRL Limitless down in 8th. Burnout F1 and STSF1 Alonso is going to round out the top 10 ahead of Jace97 F1, and he will be joined on row 6 by Stu in the Force India. The top 12 separated by less than a second here around this long lap. And then further down we have Cyril Hamilton, Leobot, 6 kills, AOR Raikkonen, RS Falken, the only man setting a lap on the super soft chair, and then Snowadore in 18th. On the back row of this 20-car grid, it is Lucky Dog and IRL Giovinazzi for his debut in the league, both of those two not setting a time in this session. Andre, Ycoms and Mike Marshmallow unfortunately missing from the grid today, but let's see how the other guys will be doing now in the race.
Welcome to the grid here in Belgium, where we've got 20 drivers lined up and ready to go racing, with HCR Cupid sat at the front and on pole position. But will he be able to hold on to it coming up that hill right in front of you there, Eau Rouge, and down the Kemmel Straight? The slipstream is going to be very strong, and also an 83% chance of rain. It just rained in the last race, Fizzy. We've actually seen a good amount of precipitation this season.
We really have in this league, and yeah, these guys just I would assume if they are anything like me, they'll keep practicing for dry races, prepare their strategy as if it's going to be a full dry race, and then they keep having wet weather thrown in their faces, and it all goes out the window. So they're starting on the dry tires at least, but yeah, it's already looking very overcast, so you never know, it might not wait too long for the rain to come down now.
Yep, yeah, it could be a difficult race for a lot of these drivers out here today. On board with the Mercedes. Behind your championship leader right there, the Flying Finn, starting today's race in 4th position, qualified on the soft compound tires. The super soft, and medium compound tires available for today's race, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of the intermediate and full wet tires. And it does appear that TRL Martin is ghosting quite a bit, moving around quite a bit on that formation lap, so hopefully that isn't any sort of foreshadowing of things to come. We do also have a temporary driver. It was IRL Giovinazzi.
Well, not quite a temporary driver, just a reserve driver. So basically, he's the 23rd driver of the 22-man grid. So he will step into race whenever one of the main drivers can't make it.
Yep. So he brings us to a grid of 20 cars, which should be plenty. It is looking very strange between the cars as they complete the formation lap now. A lot of ghosting going on, strange things. So hopefully the servers will play nice today. I know in the past couple of races we have seen some odd moments here or there. But yeah, Sayaryu starting this race from 2nd position, 2 positions ahead of the Flying Finn. So he might be able to make some inroads in the championship today.
He definitely could, and he really needs to, because it's a big gap up to the Flying Finn. So well, it's a long race ahead of us, and let's see what Sayaryu and all the other guys can do now.
Yep, on board with Sayaryu now as the lights are coming on and we prepare to go racing, and it looks like a fantastic start for the Flying Finn, already gaining ground on the podium finisher last time out, AOR Reversal, who's going to have that inside line into La Source. And as they come out of the corner, it looks fairly clean for the guys up at front. How's it looking in the midfield? Pretty good as Sayaryu and Reversal going side by side down towards Eau Rouge, but it does look like Sayaryu is going to hold on to that one. Franglish going up the inside at Eau Rouge, a little bit of action between those two guys. Reversal now, though, coming back at Sayaryu. They're 3 wide down the Keppel Straight into Ycoms here. Is HCR Cupid going to lose 2 positions? He is. Reversal goes deep, though, very deep. Sayaryu might be able to reclaim claim the lead of this race, but no, it looks like Reversal is just about going to hold on to that. Didn't gain an advantage, as once again they're nearly 3 wide again downhill into the right-hander. We've got 5 cars all side by side battling it out through the right-hander into the corner with no name. Sayaryu currently leads, followed by Cupid. Then here comes the Flying Finn. Reversal is losing positions hand over fist here.
Yeah, he's been dropping back ever since he went off track. Street's now going through up to 4th place. And I noticed Martin dropped a few from where he started as well, but not too bad. You can see Raikkonen now making a move on Falcon. Oh, and Stu's going wide on the outside there through Puon, getting a very slow run. And towards the back, Limitless has dropped way down at the order. Now even losing time also out of Puon to Jason. And then Franglish goes off on the next corner. It's all kicking off everywhere on this first lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. And yeah, back with the reverse. Oh my word! And my! That's Street's in the wall and he's lost his tire.
Holy cow, yeah, Strees has lost a wheel. He is sans a wheel at this point, so no safety car, of course, though, is going to be coming out, so these guys are going to continue with full throttle racing as HDR Cupid reclaims the lead of the race. IRL Giovinazzi up from 20th up into 13th, but now he's going to come under attack now from Lucky Dog 2000 now in the Haas, goes around the outside at the bus stop chicane, gets the inside line for the final corner. Oh, and there's been a coming together between Alonso and 6 Skills, I think that was, out of the final corner as we start lap number 2 now, and it looks like the gap between Cupid and Sayaryu has grown significantly.
It does, yeah. Cupid managing to get some bit of clear air after making that move on Sayaryu now and trying to pull away with the pace we know he has, and Reversal getting an almighty slipstream on the Flying Finn, flying past him and way before the braking zone. Sayaryu is now going to go defensive into Ycoms, braking a lot later though is Reversal. Can he hold it around the outside here? Sayaryu is going to try the same on the next one, and he carries more speed, and it's side by side still. Reversal losing the back end a little bit now. The Flying Finn will try to get back at him with the inside line into turn 8, I'm gonna say, without actually knowing it, and then Reversal not quite been able to hold it around the outside there, so we go back to the order we were in at the start of the lap.
Yep, so Reversal back into 4th position, and that was turn 10. You weren't far off there. Burnout F1 actually appeared to be in the top 10, but actually go ahead and talk us through this start, Fizzy.
Yes, so we can see the start from the poleman, HCR Cupid, and he's moving way over to the left to get a good run through the first corner. Not really challenged. There was nearly 3 wide behind him, as you remember, but Cupid not having any sort of issues there. Let's see the start from Martin's view. Then he's also moving to the outside line, from the, presumably to line up a good exit. But then there might have been a slight tag behind him because he went really deep, and then dropping to Streets and Franglish there. So that's why he was a little bit further down. And then from Jason's view, Alonso getting sideways and hitting the inside wall there. I think he might have just braked a little bit too late, tapped the car ahead and been sent to the side. That's not the way Alonso would want to start the race. And there is, of course, just 3 wide on the first lap with a reversal down the middle. But then at Le Comp, just missing his braking point, going way off the track, and of course then dropping down later on.
Yep, getting a corner cut penalty there as well. A long race up ahead. It is a very long circuit, 7 kilometers, 22 laps. So lots of racing still to go for these guys, and he's already got that warning. Oh, and there's a coming together between the McLaren of Franglish, and it looks like Jason was involved there as well. Snowy and Raikkonen, CRL Hamilton getting involved. Lucky Dog losing the back end, losing a position to Giovinazzi. So that explains how IRL Giovinazzi ended up in 13th position at the end of lap 1, and that's what happened with Jason 97 F1 there. Unfortunate for him as he dropped down to last place in that Ferrari, though maintaining all of his front wing. And we've got 6 skills in the manner coming. Oh, yeah. Not really a safe rejoin of the track there, and he is going to let Alonso through, which will mean he won't get any sort of penalty or anything like that. But, of course, that's very damaging to both of those drivers for their race.
Yeah, not the way they would have started. I noticed Stu was going to the pits as well, so he must have had some front wing damage, you'd imagine. That's probably why he went really slow through Puon on the first lap. Now we are at the start of lap 3. Ciario going very deep into the source. That's going to let the Flying Finn up into second, and Reversal also up to third. And now Martin back into where he started in P5, right behind Ciario. Now maybe we'll get a run up through Rouge. Giovinazzi up to 11th place now. Lucky Dog in 12th. And here we go then, a Reversal. He had really good straight line speed on all of the 2 previous laps. Well, he's always flying down this straight, and again, he's just used that slipstream to his advantage up to second place before the brakes on. This time he's still missing the apex on that corner, but not quite as much as on the first lap. And the Flying Finn getting that over, which means he wasn't able to capitalize on him running wide.
And that might be the only lap where we actually see the DRS. The precipitation is coming down. AOR Reversal is feeling that precipitation right now as he goes very wide at turn 10. He's going to lose several positions. CRL Martin up into 4th position and looking very feisty behind Seariu here as they come out of the corner with no name on the run down towards Puon. They're going to be side by side. TRL Martin with the inside line could move himself up into a podium position. Seariu hanging it around the outside though. Impressive stuff. Meanwhile, though, up ahead, the Williams is just pulling away of the Flying Finn. And here comes Reversal now side by side. He's going to go around the outside at turn 13, making a little contact there possibly, I think, with Martin. I was looking down for a second, but Seariu coming back at Reversal now. Reversal back down into 5th position, and he's got the other Renault of Burnout right behind him. The Renault's currently running in 4th and 6th position, looking very strong, switching on board with that yellow Renault now as he's running in the slipstream of AOR Reversal. Looks like a bit of wheel spin coming out of Stavilo there, or I'm sorry, Kurt Paul Frere. Seariu now moving up the inside on TRL Martin through Blanchimont. Oh, and Martin runs very wide. AOR Reversal is going to take that position, possibly take another position, moving up the inside on Seariu into the bus stop chicane. They both go very deep. Very, very deep, and I assume they probably want to pit. Reversal makes it into the pits. Martin makes it into the pits. Everybody, pit.
What is happening here? Everyone's really slow on the entry for some reason. Martin just holding everyone up. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest, but everyone's pitting at the exact same time.
Yeah, it is total chaos in the pits as everybody is going for a set of the intermediate compound tires. It does look like the Renault of Burnout is going to get held up a little bit. More than a little bit. Oh, and this is Seariu. Burnout actually, because Seariu went deep, Burnout actually making it into the pits before his teammate. That is very destructive to Seariu. Lucky Dog as well being held for a long time. A 6.4 second stop for him. Burnout, though, now up into 5th position on these intermediate tires. Seariu down to 8th, and it looks like Franglish might make that 9th. Here we go. They're going to be side by side into Eau Rouge, but no, Seariu holds him off. While his teammate now on the attack on AOR Raikkonen here.
Yeah, and he will be moving up the inside into Le Comp. Of course, new conditions for these guys because they get used to now. The first lap on the intermediates, and Bernard looks to have gotten that move done, and Frank is now moving ahead of Ciario as well. That's such a costly mistake, Ciario running wide at the bus stop, because not only did he lose a lot of position just from running wide, but he also got held behind his teammate. If he hadn't done that, he would have been ahead of his teammate going into the pit box. But at least now he's going to try to make one position back up on the inside of Frank Lecher, and that's a nice clean move for Ciario, who's got a big gap ahead of him now to close down to the position he was in previously. Obviously, where he qualified, you'd say as a pace to challenge for the win possibly in this race, but at the moment it's just not gone the way he would have wanted.
Yeah, I think that was 4th through 7th, a few seconds up the road from Ciario, as RS Falcon now in the McLaren, putting the moves on, I almost said Antonio, IRL Giovinazzi. This is the real-life Antonio Giovinazzi, people, but RS Falcon goes right around the outside at turn 13 and makes the move, moves up into the final points-paying position, and with his teammate Franglish actually up ahead, so the two McLarens currently running in points-paying position, so looking pretty good for these guys as long as Falcon can keep it off the curbing there. Leobot just up ahead for AOR Reversal. I'm curious if he's on the intermediate tires. Yeah, it sure looks like he is. Wow, Reversal very late on the brakes, nice and confident into the bus stop chicane, gets the inside line, goes around the outside of that final corner. Burnout F1 and AOR Raikkonen doing battle up ahead as well, and it looks like Reversal with much better traction out of that final corner is going to grab a position on Leobot and now turn his focus towards the Ferrari up ahead.
So let's see what will happen. Yeah, this is obviously a replay of the pre-pit phase when Reversal locked up massively, but Ciario locked up even more. There was no contact between them, and then 5-second stop goes well for Reversal, which will have hampered his pit stop speed as well. So he's one of the guys who also lost out in the pits then, I would imagine. And let's see what happened to Tyrrell Martin. He's going in, he's behind Reversal, and he's got really slow. You can see he's got full throttle. You can see the bottom right, he's got absolutely full throttle, but it's just not moving for some reason. I don't think I've seen that before.
I guess that's what happens when you have 4 F1 cars in the space of one F1 car, essentially, because, yeah, some weird stuff happening there for sure, which definitely was part of, it definitely helped AOR Reversal.
Yeah.
That is going to help him with the gap. It's also going to help him that Ciario got held for so long in the pits. I mean, he's just now getting jacked up, just now getting the wheels on. He goes down, and thankfully doesn't get held for very long once the car gets put back down on the ground. Different story for Falcon, up in the air with the tires changed, then back down on the ground and just waiting.
Oh, God!
And 11.7 second pit stop for the McLaren crew. That is very unfortunate. And we rejoin the racing now on lap 5. Burnout and Raikkonen still doing battle. AOR Reversal not far behind. And actually, Raikkonen is on medium compound tires.
Wait, what? What?
That's interesting.
Nah, surely that can't be an actual thing, because then we know he would surely have pitted by now at the end of this lap if that was the case. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that's a graphical glitch, because he seems.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it says he's on the intermediates at the top left there. Okay. Yeah, that is very much a glitch. I was gonna say. Reversal's having a hard time passing him, considering he's on slicks in this weather, but yeah, I guess that is just a graphical glitch. Apologies for that. That was my mistake. But here we go. AOR Reversal versus AOR Raikkonen. Out of Eau Rouge and onto the Kemmel Straight. And Burnout F1 is moving very, very slowly. Here comes Raikkonen catching up to the Renault. Now he's going to move to the inside line. And Reversal's going to make it 3 wide into Lacombe. They're all going to run a little bit deep there. Reversal runs the least deep, though, and is able to move up into 4th position. Burnout sneaking back up the inside at turn 9 on AOR Raikkonen. Moves back up into 5th position, but here comes Raikkonen back up at the inside at turn 10. Downhill, down this right-hander, and they're going to be side by side once again. No, Raikkonen with the better traction out of that corner, meaning he holds onto it. But again, Burnout coming back at him, just carrying more speed. I think we may be seeing just differences in the other Renault of Ciario as well. Oh, wow, and Leobot nearly running into the back of Burnout. Burnout getting some oversteer. Leobot running off the circuit. Ciario grabs a couple of positions, and Burnout drops a couple of positions. Now they're side by side between Burnout and Leobot into turn 13. Looks like Leobot's going to just about get the better of him, and Franglish not far behind as well, getting involved in all of this.
Yeah, crazy action there on lap 6. Oh, and Burnout's touched the rear tire of Leobot. Oh, Franglish has run into the side of him as well as he was trying to recover.
No.
Franglish dropping way back as well. Giovinazzi moving into the points then And Burnout now trying to recover. I was looking so good for Burnout again. A bit similar to Hungary, I think it was, when Burnout was also looking very good for large portions of the race, but then had some issues. And now he's nailing under, staring into the wall. Don't want to do that, of course. He's got quite a bit of front wing damage there as well, so he's definitely going to have to pit. And so soon after, just having changed onto the intermediates, that's not going to help. Oh, and that's not going to help for Lucky Dog. He did just make his way into the top 10 positions, but now he's got a 3-second time penalty, which might affect his position at the end.
Well, he is more than 3 seconds of the car behind, which is in fact his teammate, TRL Limitless, who is not having a great race so far. And yeah, Burnout F1 into the pits to change that front wing after that collision with the McLaren. And here we go once again with Sayaryu trying to get into the top 5 here as he moves to the left-hand side on Raikkonen. He'll have to go around the outside at Ycoms. Raikkonen outbrakes him in the Ferrari, actually, and with that inside line, holds on to that position. Good, fair defensive driving from Raikkonen there. Not quite carrying as much speed through that right-hander as Sayaryu, but just not enough track before the next downhill right-hander there. As Burnout F1 comes out of the pits, it is now an 18-car race, and Burnout down to 17th position, which has got to hurt considering he was just in the top 5 a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, definitely. That's very frustrating for him. And just want to point out the gap. We haven't seen much of the top 3 after the pit stop, and that's just because how it worked out with the stops and their pace as well, that all of those 3 are really spread out. Actually, Cupid in the lead, then the Flying Finn, then Gerald Martin, all with a big gap both in front and behind at the moment. So we'll see if any of those are able to close each other down as this race goes on. Obviously a long way to go still around the Belgian Grand Prix. We can see Giovinazzi seeming to struggle a little bit on those intermediates at the moment on lap 7. Lucky Dog getting very close to him, going into the 3rd sector of the lap. And here we have one of the top 3 actually, the Flying Finn in second. You can see the gap to Cupid is just going into turn 1 now, so it's about 5.2 seconds it says. So it's a pretty big one, and it's like 4 seconds from Finn as well down to Martin behind. So suddenly it was looking so close at the front in the first few laps, but suddenly after the pit stops it's gotten quite spread out.
I think the rain is stopping, or no, I mean, it certainly doesn't look like it's stopping now that we're on board with Lucky Dog, but yeah, on Cupid's screen there, it did seem a lot tamer, and there goes the mistake that I think Lucky Dog was inevitably waiting for. Giovinazzi going a bit deep into turn 1, but Lucky Dog getting a bit eager on the throttle coming out of La Source there, and that means he is going to have a bit of a harder time, but we rejoin the battle for 5th position with Raikkonen defending from Sayaryu. He's got the inside line. Let's see if he can outbrake the Renault once again into Ycoms. Yes, he can, but Sayaryu this time a little bit more clever, and even though the attempt was the same, the outcome was different, as Sayaryu now moving up into 5th position. He does need to worry, though, about AOR Raikkonen, who has shown good pace in the wet here, and there he goes. Sayaryu just a little bit deep through turn 10, and that's going to put Raikkonen all over the back of him. He is tucked right underneath the gearbox of that Renault as they come out of no name now, and Sayaryu's feeling the need to actually defend the inside line into Puan. Raikkonen is going to try and go around the outside. Slight contact between the two of them is going to cause Raikkonen to lift off, and they're going to be separated a little bit. So Raikkonen will hold off for right now. Back to the battle for 9th position, though, here, Fisi.
Yep, that was some good clean racing between Raikkonen and Sayaryu getting the move done. In the end, can Lucky Dog now get the move on Giovinazzi? He's been following him for quite a while and very closely indeed. He's got quite a bit of fuel to run. It's always interesting to see how the fuel and the tires develop throughout these races, especially in the wet when you generally don't use too much fuel. You really want to be quite, running quite a bit of lean. But then on the straight, you want to put up the ridge. That is what Lucky Dog is doing now, and that is giving him the straight line speed he needs to get ahead of Giovinazzi before the release branch Dumont. Luckily for him, because it's always very tricky to go side by side through there. And Giovinazzi then dropping down into 10th place, but currently on course for some points at least on his debut race. Although right behind these two, we have got Tierra Limitless. And there we go. I think I saw in the mirror that Giovinazzi actually had a bit of a spin back there.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah, I saw Tierra Limitless grabbing the position.
Oh, speaking of spins!
Oh, yeah, he did the Magnus in there. Sorry to bring that one up. But, yeah, ended up Oh, whoa! And I think Jason 97 F1 is going to need a fresh pair of underwear after that one. That was pretty terrifying for him, I can imagine. Here's a replay of what happened between Burnout and Leobot. I got to say that was probably Burnout's fault on that one. I think that was a self-inflicted wound. Really not much that Leobot could have done about that, and unfortunately Franglish getting caught up in that. And RS Falcon saying, thank you very much, I will take both of those positions. And then looks like a little bit later, RS Falcon, just getting into the curbing at the top of the hill. And that's going to be a 3-second time penalty for the McLaren driver. And back on board now with Jason 97 F1, having a look at CRL Hamilton as we come out of Blanchimont and on the run down towards the bus stop chicane. And can the Ferrari do anything? No, can't get alongside on this occasion, a little bit too far back. A battle going on just ahead of this as well for P11 that we'll try and keep our eye on as well. But CRL Hamilton appears to have the grip, or the traction rather, out of that final corner to hold off for right now. RS Falcon, again, here we go. Just make sure you don't get into that curbing at the top of there. No, that's much better line. And he's going to carry lots and lots of speed. No DRS, of course, in these conditions, but he doesn't need it with that slipstream on the run down the Kemmel Straight and into Ycoms. It is up to P7 for the McLaren of RS Falcon, looking good for him. AOR Raikkonen not far up the road. Speaking of AOR Raikkonen, his teammate now trying to make the move on CRL Hamilton at the end of the straight with the inside line, and very nice late braking maneuver for the Ferrari driver, moves him up into P13 with a battle up ahead as well, so he could potentially gain some more positions. And we're not even halfway through this race yet, Fizzy.
Yeah. Only on lap 10 at the moment. Back with RS Falcon, who still's got Leobot right behind him after making that pass. Interesting stat on the McLarens, actually. The McLaren team has scored 2 points since the Monaco Grand Prix. So, Franglish obviously has missed the last 2 races, and RS Falcon hasn't had the best of luck either. We obviously remember his disqualification in Hungary before the lights had even gone out, and a few other things as well. So, at the moment, though, Falcon looking on course for some decent points, which is much needed for that McLaren team. 18 points, though, on the cards, potentially for the Flying Finn in the second place at the moment. The championship leader, of course. Has he closed in on Cupid, is my question. 4.2 at
massively.
The previous. Yeah, it's close nearly a second, let's see on this. Yeah, well, and then we go back to 5.1. So it's basically not close at all. 1/10 or something since last time.
And we've got the inter-team battle. I saw this one coming. I was watching that battle with Lucky Dog for 9th position. I saw Limitless just getting closer and closer and closer, and he does eventually get the move done on his teammate. And here's Jason 97 trying to make a move on Giovinazzi, who was in P9, dropped to P10. Limitless made it P11. He's now down into P12, really struggling for traction. We saw that too when Lucky Dog was trying to get by Giovinazzi. We saw a lot of footage from behind Giovinazzi, and he seemed to be struggling out of Curve Paul Frere there, just really couldn't get the traction down. Meanwhile, the Manor and the Renault going side by side through the bus stop chicane.
Snowadore and Burnout.
Yep, Snowy and Burnout just having a little coming together, but no damage for either car. You know, Rubbin's racing, they're okay. Snowadore coming back at Burnout at the exit of the first corner, but it looks, it's looking very laggy. Yep, and there goes Burnout. That's one of the easier ways to overtake someone, I guess.
He said he retired from the race, so let's see what happened if his screen wasn't freezing. I could hear the DNF sound there, so clearly there's been some weird stuff going on there, and he's actually out of the race, his Burnout. So it's definitely gone from bad to worse. It didn't help that his camera didn't really show us exactly what happened there. But definitely from Snowadore's view, there was absolutely no contact, so I think there was some lag going on probably between those two, or Burnout just losing at the back end a little bit. But yeah, that's a shame for Burnout, of course. And a 3-second penalty for reversal. That could be costly, especially with the Ciari right behind him as well. And reversal actually pits. That's interesting. After lap 13. So he clearly feels that these intermediates will not go till the end of the race, and has got in as the only man so far after lap 3.
I think he might be making the right call here. It was forecasted to rain for the vast majority of this race, and I believe he's already done 10 laps on those intermediates. The car is obviously lighter with fuel now, so he can be a little bit more gentle with this set of intermediates as he starts lap number 14 now. So he's got, 9 laps actually to do on this set. So in fact, I think he could have stopped a lap sooner than that. And it may have been beneficial, but it looks like he's going to come out in 10th position. Yeah, he's going to hold on to 10th. with a decent-sized gap to 11th, we can see on the mini-map there. Back on board with RS Falcon in that 6th place position. Man, he would really love to bring home those 8 points for the McLaren team. 4 times as many points as he scored, or as they've scored since Monaco. So, yeah, if he can hold on to that. And it does seem Leobot is just about holding on to the back of Falcon, but he's looking pretty comfortable. He hasn't made massive inroads on the Ferrari up ahead. But if these guys continue on, then I would say they're pretty much committed to finishing the race on this set of tires. You know, if they haven't stopped by 15, 16, I think it's pretty obvious they're not going to.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be interesting to see what people do, because at the moment, yeah, Reversal, the only man who's been in the pits. So will other guys, you know, feel like the same thing is necessary? So we now got Jason closing rapidly on Franglish through Puon, and Franglish gone.
And Hamilton retired.
Hamilton's retired, and Franglish retired. So basically at the same time, we got 2 cars out of the race. Bit weird what happened with Franglish there. I think it looked like he just spun off the curb, the massive curb on the inside of Puon. Let's see it from his view actually. He's going wide first of all through Puon, gets a little bit of oversteer maybe, and then gets even more oversteer, gets on the curb, and ooh, that's a big hit.
Yeah, that is a very big hit.
Almost looked like it turned right, like it looked like he overcorrected a little bit on that curb on the inside, to be honest.
Yeah, or possibly a controller glitch or something like that. Yeah, any number of things. Meanwhile, TRL Martin in the Mercedes is going to come into the pits at the end of lap 15, so he is another one of those drivers thinking that it may be advantageous to actually fit a fresh set of boots and come out on some fresh rubber, start putting in those fast lap times. Now, obviously, he is going to be quite a bit quicker. Reversal and Martin are going to be quite a bit quicker than the cars around them. And actually, I think Martin is going to come out in a better position than Reversal came out in. I think he may come out in 5th. Of course, we can't see his position when we're on board with Martin. Yeah, I think it's going to be 5th or 6th, something around there. Whereas Reversal came out in 10th. So Martin seemingly having a little bit of a better middle stint in his race, as RS Falcon came into the pits for his set of intermediates, and it was a 2.1 second stop for him. And then here's a replay of Jason going into the pits at the end of lap 17. That's very late. At that point, I think it would have been better just to stay out. He's only going to get 5 laps on this fresh set of intermediates, and I mean, he's going to lose close to 20 seconds as a result of coming into the pits, so I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it.
Look at the tire,
maybe
though.
It will be. Yeah, 74% on the front right for the Flying Finn. Fizzy, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's getting dangerously close to popping.
That is popping range right now. We remember Reversal last time out in Hockenheim. He had his tire pop at about 70%, if I remember correctly, after trying to stretch his stint very long. So it really, you know, if you're unlucky, it could just go bang at any moment. And if Finn wants to go to the end here, he needs to do 3 more laps on these. Cupid is staying out in first, and Finn actually goes into the pits after only being a few seconds behind Cupid for the lead of the race, and he's actually going to pit with just 3 laps remaining, which is very interesting. CRU, not, well, it was quite far behind, but we'll see how
15 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So they might come close actually if CRU, and yeah, I can see on the mini map, CRU does not pit, and he has got a car right behind him as well. And that is TRL Martin, has already made up that time.
Oh gosh, yeah, so I have to say Martin is probably going to grab second here. I have to say he is my favorite. Yeah, Sayoriu's rear tires are looking about as bad as Flying Finn's front tires were looking. The Flying Finn getting very defensive here. He's moving over to the left-hand side. He knows Martin isn't far away. Martin's carrying much more speed, obviously. Gets a 3-second time penalty, though, through Eau Rouge. He's going to pick up the slipstream. He's got much more speed carried through Eau Rouge than, of course, the Williams had. But I think he did lift off there. That's very interesting. And he's still gone purple in Sector 1.
That's crazy. I've noticed a few purple Sector 1s actually. I think, obviously, there were only 3 laps of dry weather, and one of them they went into the pits on, and one of them was the first lap. So basically, whoever set the fast lap must have been on lap 2, and clearly didn't have a very good first sector, since they can match it in the wet air. But anyway, that's a shame for Martin, though, picking up the 3-second penalty. They might just, maybe that was a reason why he lifted off, actually, just because he cut the corner and felt like it would have been unfair to pass him after that. With that run, he got because of that. But yeah, obviously that 3-second penalty would have been the sufficient penalty anyway.
76% on Cupid.
Oh, it's getting dangerous for him as well.
Yeah, and he's gonna pit with 2 laps remaining in this race. He's gonna go onto another set of tires. That is a very strange call. And I think, Fizzy, this means, look at the minimap. You can see them moving through Curve Paul Frere right there. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Going through Curve Paul Frere, now coming down towards Blanchimont. HCR Cupid now into the pits as well for a very late stop. I think we're going to be seeing a 4-way battle here, Fizzy, for the lead of this race for the final couple of laps. Martin, though, not waiting for the penultimate lap. He's already trying to make a move on the Flying Finn. Can he go around the outside? The Flying Finn squeezing him just a little bit. All's fair, though, in those moves, and he is going to hold off TRL Martin for right now. But, of course, Martin is going to get one heck of a slipstream. And it does look like Cupid is going to come out ahead of these guys. His tires are not going to maybe be as worn, but they are going to be a little bit fresher. The Flying Finn holding off TRL Martin once again, but it does look like the gap between Sayaryu and the Flying Finn is beginning to grow, and actually the gap between Cupid and Sayaryu is more than enough. I think Cupid is going to hold on to this here.
Yeah.
But what can Martin do here from 4th?
Cupid obviously had a big gap before these guys started going in for new inters, and clearly he's done a good job to keep the pace up on those 1 tires before he pitted as well, because it's still got a huge gap. And now Ciari behind has also got tire problems. Now there's a move for 5th place actually, AOR Reversal on AOR Raikkonen, and that can he get him down? Raikkonen trying to hang in a little bit on the inside, but Reversal gets that 5th place in the end. But this is the battle to look at. 2nd place in Ciari, who has got massive tyre wear at the moment. Flying Finn and Martin behind on pretty fresh tyres. Flying Finn slightly fresher than Martin's, but Ciari is still holding on at the moment. And of course, you know, you wouldn't expect the Flying Finn and Martin to catch Cupid with just a lap and a half to go anyway, but Ciari being ahead of him as well would definitely help him.
Yep, and here we go up the inside at turn 13. Flying Finn not hanging around. Sayaryu, though, doing his best with the inside line now for 14. Flying Finn running a little bit wide, nearly getting into the gravel. I think he may have even been in the gravel for a little bit there. Through Stabilo now into Curve Paul Frere. Sayaryu holding on to that 2nd place position only narrowly, but the Flying Finn appears to carry a little bit more speed through the corner and is picking up the slipstream here as well in Rich Mix, but really not closing massively. They're not going to be side by side into Blanchimont. TRL Martin, though, on the other hand, is closing massively. I think he might have better straight line speed than the Flying Finn up ahead. This is getting very hectic as they start the final lap of this race now. Can Sayaryu hold on?
Oh yeah, he's done a really good job, I have to say. Ciari on those 1 times to defend for that whole lap ahead of those 2 guys who are super fast, and oh my word, that's a save and a half from Lucky Dog. He does drop a position out to Falcon, but luckily saves himself a potential big crash after losing it through Blanchimont there. And I think Lucky Dog, this is another battle between, you know, a tyre wear struggler and a guy with fresher tyres, because I think Falcon's been in the pits, whereas Lucky Dog is not. And now, Justin, it's all kicking off for 2nd.
Yeah, here we go, the Flying Finn carrying much more speed through Eau Rouge, but TRL Martin is the one with the straight line speed, using the slipstream, nearly making it 3 wide, but Sayaryu just cannot hang with them anymore. Drops down to 4th position, a little bit of contact maybe between the Flying Finn and TRL Martin. Martin's gonna move up into 2nd position. Sayaryu moving up into 3rd position. Doesn't really seem like he knows what to do. He's still side by side with the Flying Finn as they come downhill into turn number 10. Sayaryu with that inside line, but the Flying Finn with the much fresher tires. With the inside line, Sayaryu defends that 3rd place position. I'm not sure if there's going to be any sort of penalty. We may need to see a replay between Martin and Flying Finn. Did you see any contact there, Fizzy?
It was a little bit tricky to see. It didn't look like any blatant contact, at least, so yeah, hopefully we will get a replay of that one. And you can see, look at the tyre wear that Ciari, can he hold on from his championship rival? Of course, well, there are 58 points apart, but still, it's important. Flying Finn going for the inside line through this section. Hour 1 is he forces Ciari out of the way. There a bit of contact. Ciari turned in, maybe wasn't expecting him to go for the overtake on that particular corner, and now Ciari did so well to stay ahead for a long time, but on the final lap, unfortunately, he has to capitulate. Of course, we know that Tyrrell Martin, though, has that 3-second penalty. We do not know.
Right.
We do not know if the other 2 guys have any, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But here comes Cupid to take a pretty dominant win in the end here in Belgium.
Yep, he is going to come out of the bus stop chicane with a decent-sized gap behind, and it was pretty easy. He made it look halfway easy there, Fizzy, as he comes across the line to grab that win. TRL Martin in second position, the Flying Finn in third, but crucially ahead of Seyario, meaning he will extend that championship point lead that he already had coming into this race. That's strange. It said Seyario had won the race.
Not if that's the case. That would be very weird if that was the case. Yeah.
We will have to defer to the final standings, but it looks like RS Falcon is just about going to hold on to 8th position. He's going to grab 4 well-deserved and very welcomed points for the McLaren team. I'm sure Jason97 F1 is going to finish just outside the points. TRL Limitless grabbing that final points-paying position. Oh, now it says Jason won the race, so I guess everybody's a winner.
Everyone's
here
won the
race. So this is what I was talking about. TRL Martin just seemed to have the straight line speed in comparison to just about everybody around him.
Oh, there wasn't contact.
They go side by side. Yeah, no contact there. So it does look like the Flying Finn, in fact, did just go very wide. Let's see it from the Williams point of view here. Gets into the braking zone.
Yeah.
No, he got very close, but I don't think there was contact.
He had a lock up on the rears, I think, which made his back step out a little bit mid-corner there, which definitely didn't help his slowdown power. And now this is a move when he went up the inside of CRU, and CRU not being too generous with the room, but let's see how he looked from his view. Yeah, he started turning in. Yeah, maybe wasn't expecting it, little. To be honest, I'm not sure how you call that one.
Yeah, I think he got clipped a little bit, and then that's probably down to lag. And so in the end, though, HDR Cupid with no time penalties is going to grab first position. The Flying Finn ahead of Seyario and Martin because of their penalties. Martin with actually 6 seconds worth of penalties. Seyario with 3 seconds worth of penalties. So that means actually Seyario is going to move ahead of Martin as well as the Flying Finn. So tough day for TRL Martin. Could have been a podium, but unfortunately he will have to settle for just 12 points. AOR Reversal, though, with that one of the earliest pit stops, I believe, if not the first pit stop for the second set of intermediate tires, is going to pick up a top 5 finish for that. Leobot in 6th position in the points. Great to see Leobot doing well in the Toro Rosso. Then AOR Raikkonen not far behind, just a few tenths behind because of a 6-second penalty for him as well. And we can see time penalties just up and down the field, Fizzy. Lots of people struggling with these understandably difficult conditions.
Yeah, it's it's quite easy to do when you get into the intermediate conditions. You're not quite used to driving, you get much more understeer, and suddenly, it's easy to misjudge the corners, and then you can easily pick up a few warnings and in turn penalties. So Giovinazzi in the end getting 12th place on his debut, worth pointing out as well. The driver championship though still looking very good for the Flying Finn. He will have extended his gap from 58 to 61 then. To CRU in second. Cupid as well with the race win will have closed in a little bit, and Martin also not too far behind in fourth. Then Reversal ahead of Limitless. There's no movement actually in the top 11 of the standings. Jason's 2 points only ahead of Leobot for 7th there. Ycoms only 2 points ahead of Andre for 9th, and then 3 further ones down to Mike Marshmallow, who I believe was not on the grid today.
I think worth pointing out that the top 5 in the championship here were also the top 5 of the race. Not necessarily in that same order, but all of them finishing in the top 5. So I think if nothing else, today proved that, the best drivers finished in the top 5 because they really deserved it. I mean, it was not easy for anybody out there.
Definitely not. And shout out to AOR Raikkonen actually, who only had 1 point before today, and he's picked up another 6th one with that really good 7th place finish for him. So he's up a position there towards the bottom. Constructors, Williams looking dominant as per usual this season. Red Bull, Renault, Mercedes relatively close. Sauber also hanging in there a little bit, and Haas very close ahead of Toro Rosso. Force India, Ferrari quite close, and McLaren and Manor right there at the bottom.
Yep, even the bottom team scoring 20 points so far after now 13 rounds of racing. So, this is 12 rounds of racing. But anyway, so doing pretty good so far. Next time is going to be round 14, and it is going to be from the Temple of Speed at Monza in Italy. Very fast circuit, lots of overtaking opportunities, Fizzy. Lots of chicanes as well. High speeds into low speed corners, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Monza, of course, very good for overtaking. There is bound to be lots of action once again in this league, and as per usual, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that is going to do it for today's action for the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time in Italy. Bye-bye.